Your next question, which is kind of intriguing, is what is your digital competitive advantage? So how do you kind of identify which capabilities is relevant for tomorrow? And how do you actually use that as your...
Well, part of so that research, that we started really just asking people, so what do you think your competitive advantage is?
Yeah.
What are you what do you think you're going to build your future on?
Right.
And that's how we came to identify the three sources of competitive advantage. And the first one of those is your content. What do you sell? And it could be a product, it could be digital. You could think of Amazon selling the product that gets delivered to your door, the product information that is around it. There's often digital services. So that's what's sold. The customer experience is the second customer advantage. And that's what's the experience of being a customer like? Do you have everything in place so that you've thought about this seamless interaction, that you've got things like a community, that you have reputation, those kinds of things. And then the third is, what's your platform? And that's about how well you deliver. And so, and one of the things, as we were going along and doing the research, we realized that each of the business models has a separate source of competitive advantage. So if you're a supplier, you're selling, and you're selling something. So you have to have great content. So that helps to figure out which business model you want to be in. Omni-channels have to have a great customer experience. Modular producers have to have a great platform. Again, technology agnostic, secure, plug and play, APIs. And then ecosystem drivers just have to be great at all of them. That's one of the reasons it's so hard. Right. And we see a lot of companies use this to figure out which capabilities they think are missing, and which, some companies will say it's really about the content. So for instance, TripAdvisor at one point looked back and said, we have got more customer reviews than anybody. We should be able to leverage that. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to spend any time on their customer experience or their platform, but they see their advantages being around those reviews. A lot of, like we said, banks in the omni-channel are saying that we have to have a great customer experience so that we can become the place that customers come to when they think that they have a problem to solve. And then the platform, again, these modular producers where you have identity services, payment services, they just have to be able to work on any platform. So you have to be really great at the technology.
I think it's so fascinating. Then you have two questions, I kind of put them together, which were, how do you connect using mobile and Internet of Things, which is a fabulous question. And the next one is, do you really have the crucial capabilities to reinvent the enterprise?
Yes.
You say actually in there exactly your different competitive advantages, but can you explain a bit more how to think about these critical capabilities?
Well, we think about them as, are you using them to move up, to learn more about the customer, or are you using them to move right, to kind of start creating that web of relationships? And so moving up, think about sentiment analysis. You're looking and listening to the customer. NPS, you're bringing the voice of the customer inside. Evidence-based decision making, you're starting to actually see what it is the customer wants and then making changes based on that. On the other hand, looking at moving right, you need to be thinking about creating that platform, that destination that every customer wants to come to, and what's it going to take to create that destination. And if you think about complementary services, you've got to be able to make these partnerships that really matter around these services that are that you could bundle together to create these products and services for your customers. And then you can have this service enabling with your APIs. You've got to be able to once you have that destination, you've got to be able to plug and play into that destination. And mobile and IoT are really interesting because they can actually do both of these things at one time. And we were just intrigued by mobile and IoT, and we thought that there were real synergies between the two if you got them together. I think that you probably could have used another new technology to explore this issue of connection, both connection to the customer and connection to your partners. But those were the two that we took because they just intrigued us.
Yeah. And they are connectors, as you
Yes.
say, compared to other technologies.